Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe. We are here for Season 4 of Division 1. It is round 2 of the Championship as we take in the Bahrain Grand Prix from the Sakhir International Circuit. Good evening everyone, I am James Head, going to be taking you through the stream as your solo commentator once again here tonight. I will have a special guest joining me next week and I'll come on to that at the end of the stream. But what tonight we have in prospect, we've got 17 drivers currently within the lobby, a few new faces which I'll go through. But first of all, I want to just bring you guys up to date about something that has unfortunately happened to one of our drivers within League of Europe, and our condolences are with the family of Captain Chubbs, who you might know from Division 2 or Division 3. His granddad sadly passed away a couple of hours just before racing, so he's not going to be racing tonight in any of the other leagues. My thoughts, and I'm sure your guys' thoughts, are with him and his family in what I'm sure is a very hard time, and hopefully he might tune into the stream just for a little bit of comfort and relief. And I know it is hard, but we are all thinking about you. But more in the short term here for Division 1, just to bring you guys up to date of what happened last week in Australia. We do have a few penalties that the guys got, and I'll come on to that and how that might have impeded on the championship standings in just a second. So the three incidents occurred was Larkin and Bullet Boy. Bullet Boy has received a warning. It was dangerous driving, however it wasn't deemed as a block within qualifying. And two incidents involving Toxic, one with Neo, one with Campbell. The one with Neo, he has picked up 2 licence points for pushing Neo off track, that's within the race, and against Campbell, Toxic got a 1-place penalty plus 5 licence points for missing the braking point in turn 1, which ended up pushing Campbell off track and also causing him wing damage. So that is an update from the penalties front from the Eloise stewards, and that has a direct impact on Toxic in particular. It is Montana who leads the way. I didn't want to say that for round 1, but after round 1, Montana leads the way. Beat Alphatrix, a great fight actually last week in Australia. If you missed it, go and watch it back after this. The Swiss man leads, the Division 2 champion, on 25 points. Alphatrix in second on 18, the current champion and the defending champion coming into this season here in League of Europe. He's in second. Dropier not racing tonight in the McLaren. He's in third on 15 points, with Neo in fourth on 12. Toxic in fifth on 10. Penalties was his downfall. It didn't directly affect his he finished fourth on penalties. He didn't it got directly affected, so he finished fifth. He gets 10 points. Verstappen in 6th on 8, with Cohen in 7th on 6 points. Larkin, who is not racing here tonight, is in 8th on 5 points, with Spine in 9th on 4, Rocco in 10th on 3, XL Gary in 11th on 2, and Baki in 12th on the 1 point. That, of course, is Suku. While Luigi Campbell, Killer Blue and Daka all competed last week, didn't score any points. Bullet Boy, who's not racing tonight, also DNF'd along with Kuka Games. He is racing tonight, I can see him within the lobby. Doom, D. Daniel and Decky all not going to be racing either tonight. So we do have a few new drivers, which I'm going to bring up to you guys in just a second. But the constructors-wise, it is Alfa Romeo who leads on 29 points, with McLaren in second on 21, Williams in third on 18 points, with AlphaTauri in fourth on 18, so tied for third there. Renault in fifth on 12 points, with Racing Point in sixth on 5, Haas in seventh on 3, and then the big 3 teams within Formula 1, Mercedes in 8th on 2, Red Bull in 9th on 1, Ferrari, pretty typical of their form recently, no points at all, but they have recruited a reserve driver here tonight who comes in the form of Josh M 97, and Josh M, really strong type of a driver. I think I've seen him in TTML. He's racing in Division 1 currently in TTML. Fantastic addition as a reserve to League of Europe, and I hope that we're going to see some fantastic racing out on track from him. And I think we've also got a couple of other reserves in as well. Decky is here. So that message in the Discord that I saw is wrong. So Decky is here, the German has joined. I'm not sure what car he's going to be in, but just Asas, the Lithuanian from pre-season, is also in, and he's going to be taking the McLaren spot. Decky looks like he's racing in the Racing Point, I think taking the spot of Larkin, if I'm not mistaken. So, we are just moments away from the action beginning out on track. I want to get a little bit of a talking point going within the chat as well. You guys might or might not have heard the news about Istanbul coming back potentially on the F1 calendar this year. 15th of November is the race date. Apparently, this is rumours currently, but it is very likely that Istanbul is going to be returning along with Jerez. Jerez could be held on my birthday, which is going to be fantastic. And you guys will obviously have to have my birthday as well, because I'll be commentating on League of Europe on my birthday as well, and that's in November. So Jerez will be coming either the week or the week after Istanbul. So it'll be either the 22nd or the 29th of November. But in the short term, we are here at the Sakhir International Circuit. 15 turns await our drivers out on track tonight with 3 DRS zones. Plenty of opportunity for overtaking, plenty of time for the guys to get really at home with their setups. And qualifying is going to be quite tricky, I think. If you don't have a stable setup around here, if you have a loose back end or a very dodgy on the brakes, you miss your braking points out on track, it will cost you severely. Especially at turn 12, where the turn 12 curb, the corner of death, as I'm going to call it here tonight. I think turn 12 might catch a few drivers out unwillingly. If you ride the curb too much, you will end up spinning the car. But good evening to everyone, of course, that is tuning in. I'll check the comments section around the formation lap time, and I'll come on board with the pit strategies as well when we get to that point. But 18 minutes worth of qualifying is just about to begin. I've got a drink right next to me. It's quite warm in the commentary box here in Sakhir in Bahrain, and we are just preparing to get into the lobby now. And we are into the lobby now with the 19 drivers taking what a grid that is, first and foremost. Division 1 again living up to the expectations here tonight. We should see the first couple of cars come out on track. I'm going to go on board with Montana, predicting that he's going to be one of the first out on track. Looks like Campbell is getting ready there in the Mercedes garage as well. There's Suku and Josh M97 getting prepared. But the first car coming out on track is Montana. Beautifully done, and it's always the Swiss man who joins first out on track. So our current championship leader, the Swiss man, the Division 2 champion, NSX Montana, leads us out on track. And what a track it is in prospect. Now, obviously with how COVID has really brought about the change to the calendar, it's possible that we're going to have an all-European calendar. So Bahrain initially was tipped up to have 2 races around different formats of the circuit. There's the longer format, obviously, which was used in 2004 for the inaugural race around here in Bahrain, where Michael Schumacher won, of course. But there's also the sprint circuit, the short circuit that these guys might necessarily run in real life in Formula 1. It's going to be quite interesting to see. Obviously, Bahrain hasn't reported many coronavirus cases. Hopefully it stays the same so we can get a good night race there. And it'll be something different to the all-European calendar that we've currently got forming in Formula 1. But in the short term, our championship leader, Montana, of course, took the fight to Alphatrix, really got the jump in Australia off the start, and has the speed qualifying. I never do this for League of Europe, but I am going to put a top 3 prediction out there, and I'm going to go Alphatrix for pole, Montana second, and for third I'm going to go for Toxic. And I think Toxic might have a good qualifying. So we see the weaving of the tyres there for Montana as he now comes around turns 14 and 15. These are counted as 2 corners now through the kink of turn 15, and now we go on to a lap with Montana. Our current championship leader is going to set us about. Don't be surprised if you see 125s around here tonight. Montana towards the braking zone of turn 1. 208 mile an hour reach, down on the brakes into turn 1. Beautiful kissing of the apex there. Now through turn 2, and then up the hill on the slight rise up through turn 3 and up towards turn 4 as well. You saw the short circuit to the right hand side. That could be used in real life, of course. Now a wide exit coming out of turn 4. And then into the first sector split, Montana 27.3. Not too bad through the first sector. Exactly where you want to be. You should be seeing sub 27s later on in the session. Montana now coming through this very tricky section of 7 and 8 out on track. Now towards 9 and 10. This double left-hander can catch people out on the brakes. Montana looking very nicely there. Catches the apex very nicely indeed. We see him now run down the straight. Going to reach in excess of about 200 mile an hour down the straight here as well. 195 mile an hour reach by Montana as he comes now through turn 11 and then to the corner of death at turn 12. Doesn't want to ride the curb too much. Didn't even touch the curb at all. 103.6 through the middle sector from Montana. This is looking like a nice clean lap. You can afford to invalidate the lap there coming out of turn 13, but now on the run down towards 14 and 15. Montana looking quite good here. We'll go back on board as he comes through the final two corners. Everyone else on a lap. I think we've got Alphatrix on a lap just in behind as well. We'll come on to that in just a second, but Montana across the line. Well, my prediction of 125 is already broken. 124.7 from Montana. We've got Verstappen on a lap. Killer Blue was the Williams that I saw coming around the final corner. He goes second. Spine goes third. 600th of a second off the back of Killer Blue. Verstappen now around the final corner with a bit of a revving out glitch. I'll come out to the further camera angle. Verstappen goes second. 24.8. We'll run on board with Alphatrix, who's now coming through the middle sector. And Alphatrix, of course, the Williams, hoping to have a good race here tonight. Let's see what he's like through the middle sector. 103.4, that's quicker than Montana, I think, in terms of middle sectors. So Alphatrix really on a flyer here. We had RRT Matty go up to 6th. It is currently Montana, Verstappen, Killer Blue with less than 5 minutes gone in qualifying. Alphatrix now through the final two corners, really attacking this. He's got Decky, who looks like he's on an outlap just ahead of him. Alphatrix coming across the line. Already beats Montana by quite a comfortable margin, 0.3 of a second, and Alphatrix on top on provisional pole with just 5 minutes gone in qualifying. Backy now around the final corner, and he's about to come across the line in the Red Bull, goes 6th, 25 flat, and he's just 100th of a second ahead of Spine and 500th of a second behind Killer Blue. So not a bad lap time there at all, but early bragging rights go to Alphatrix, 24.4. Montana second with a 24.763. Neo in behind with a great lap. The German in third on a 24.7. Verstappen in fourth with a 24.8. Josh M, by the way, on his debut. He is here in the Ferrari as a reserve driver for League of Europe tonight. And Josh with a 25.3 is 9/10 off Alphatrix's pace. He can go quicker than that. I know he can. Just ASAS as well, the other reserve, in 11th position. So the Lithuanian doing a good job so far out on track. Gary now coming around the final corner. Everyone now on their down lap, so it looks like we'll get Toxic on an out lap. And he's coming through turn 6 and 7 out on track, now through turn 8. Toxic had a bit of a mixed week. He had really good pace in Australia, don't get me wrong, but the penalties were what cost him, and his on-track driving is what cost him as well a little bit, obviously with that place grid penalty being added to the end of the Australian race. And obviously he picked up penalties during the race as well, which was really his downfall. If he cuts out that tonight, he could have a very good race. But Alphatrix on top, Montana second, Neo in third. Toxic needs to get to third, and I'll be very happy, because that'll be my prediction coming exactly right, which is very rare. If you've ever followed any of my commentaries, if you are brand new to who I am, to knowing who I am, I'm James Head, going to be taking you through Division 1 here tonight. As I said, I will be joined by a special guest next week, and for the foreseeable future as well, in League of Europe. But we'll ride on board with Toxic, who was on a lap. Decky with a 25.6, by the way. He was on the out lap, of course, where Alphatrix came across the line. He went 16th with that lap. Toxic now down towards turn 1. Breaks at the 100 metre board. Turns in very nicely for the apex. Through turn 1, through turn 2, and now through 3 and 4. Just catching on the curb slightly. Didn't look overly quick through there, if I've got to be honest. Now up the hill towards turn 4. And again, Toxic just locking up the brakes there on the front right. Will really stress the tyres around here. 27.3, exactly where he wants to be though through the first sector. And again, just with the gear shifts, making the sure he gets the run through turn 6 and 7. Now through turn 8, and Toxic looking not too bad he is so far in the AlphaTauri. Of course, he is 5th coming into tonight in the standings on just 10 points. Of course, anything can change in the standings. Toxic now through turn 10 there. You saw the lockup, and you heard the lockup actually when I stopped talking there of the brakes. Now Toxic comes just up the 100 metre board again, braking through turn 11, and now through turn 12. You will really think this is 2 corners, but it's not. This right-hander is turn 12. 103.8 through the middle sector is not too bad. It's not too quick though. We saw Alphatrix through there with a 103.4, so Toxic needs to find a few tenths of a second to get up towards the top end of the grid. I think he might go in and around Killer Blue backy sort of area though with this lap. Toxic round the final corner. Let's see what the Brit can do. He's going to come across the line. Ah, beautiful. Into 5th position, exactly where I said, 24.954. He's about a 10th and a quarter off the back of his teammate there, Verstappen, in 4th position. Montana back on a lap. Let's see if he can try and beat Alphatrix. He flies through turns 1 and 2. That was McLaren coming through shot as well. I think that was Cohen starting off on a lap. We'll run a ball with Montana, then we'll cut to Cohen, and then we'll cut to anybody else that might be on a lap as well. With halfway gone in qualifying, Alphatrix on top, Montana second, Neil in third. Only 1,000th of a second separating Montana and Neil. 900ths down for Montana through the first sector. Not as quick as what we saw on his first lap. I'll be hoping to try and get at least another run out of these tyres as well. Might go on to a fresher set of softs for the final lap that he does, of course. Now Montana through turn 10. Beautiful through there. Again, opens up the DRS and the Alfa Romeo. Looking good. Alfa Romeo, of course, top of the standings coming into the Constructors. They are leading on 29 points, I think, coming into tonight. And McLaren is second on 21 points. So they've got an 8-point advantage coming into tonight. Montana through the middle sector. Purple in the middle sector. That's indicative of his personal best. And he has gained 300s, but it's not good enough so far. Montana now coming down through turn 13. Now towards 14 and 15. Braking at the 100-metre board. You saw very late on the brakes there. The Alfa Romeos. He comes now around the final corner. We've got Cohen on the lap just in behind as well. So I'll get him quickly to him. Montana improves 500ths of a second. So I try and find Cohen across the line. Yeah, it goes 10th with a 25.1, improved by 2.5 of a second there. The Alfa Romeo of Montana just getting out of the way. Kooky Games is on a lap. Spine, however, improving by 0.3 as he comes across the line and goes third, just in behind his teammate and split Montana and Neos. The Alfa Romeos second and third so far. Killer Blues on a lap. We've got Campbell, I think, just coming across the line there with a 25 flat. Now on board with Kooky Games, of course, the former Division 2 champion, or former Division 2 rival of XL Gary, of course, I should say. Kooky Games now around the final corner. The Slovenian coming across the line. Goes 7th, just 1,000th off Toxic. So the sister cars, I should say, currently defeating the main team cars. Of course, Red Bull and AlphaTauri share that shared relationship. Alphatrix, by the way, is on a lap. We've also got Baki on a lap here, just invalidating, I think, out of turn 13. Gary improved by 0.3 and has set the same time, I should say, as his teammate. Alphatrix is a 10th down. He's invalidated on this lap, so he will probably come back into the pit lane. I think Neo is on a lap here as well, so we'll catch on board with the German as he's halfway through the middle sector pretty much and halfway through the lap. Killer Blue goes 5th with a 1:24.793. Nice lap there by the German. By the Brit, I should say, not the German. Right on board with Neil, that's why I called him a German. Neil now coming round through turn 11. Let's see what the Renault man can do. 7 minutes to go. Alphatrix on top, Montana second, Spine in third. Currently looking good for Alphatrix. Neo, 400ths down in the middle sector. Can find time. You saw Montana found nearly 1/10 of a second in the final sector as Rocco goes 7th in the Haas. Good lap time by him, 24.9. The newcomer, of course, last week in Australia. Now in his second race in League Group Division 1. Neo now ran the final corner and he backs out this lap. I think he might have run out of fuel as well, actually. So Neo out into the pit lane there. And you did see Rocco's improvement there, 24.9. He improved by 0.7 of a second. Just trying to ride on board with anybody that might be on a lap. Suku's just came off a lap, I do believe. We've got Josh M on an out lap. We've got Toxic on an out lap as well. Right on board, I think, with Toxic, because he's coming around the final 2 corners now. Josh is behind out on track. I think he's just recently came out of the pit lane, but Toxic now across the line to start what will be his second flying lap out on track. 24.9 so far is his current theoretical best. He's just 1,000 ahead of that sister car of the Red Bull of Kooky Games. So really needs to put a good lap in here, and you saw him just a little bit more committed there through turn 3 and out the hill towards turn 4, very much on the brakes. You saw him trying to prioritise the exit of turn 4. Looking very nicely there is Toxic. 27.3 is only 300ths off. It looked quicker to me through the first sector. Might be indicative of the timing screens, but Toxic now through turn number 9. Or turn 8, that is. Now coming up towards turns 9 and 10. This left-hander coming through. Halfway through the lap now. You see the grandstands to the right-hand side. That is the F2 pit lane on the right-hand side as well. And Toxic now coming down towards turn number 11 out on track. We've got a Haas. Yellow flags just ahead of him out on track. I think Toxic has backed out this lap. He just overcommitted there through turn 11 and Toxic not on a lap. But Josh M is on a lap, so we'll ride on board with him as he comes through the first sector. And we've just ridden on board an invalidated lap, and he was a 10th up through the first sector as well. So Josh not on a lap. We've got Decky down on a lap, so I don't think the German is going to set a time here. We'll ride on board because he might go on for another lap. He's got very low fuel, so I would imagine this will be straight into the pit lane for the German. 4.5 minutes to go. Alpha Trix on top, Montana second, Spine in third, Neo in fourth, Killer Blue in fifth. God almighty, I've just realised Montana to Decky, second to 19th, is separated by 7/10 of a second, just under 7/10 of a second. And the whole field, in fact, is separated by a second. So that is very good indeed. Decky back into the pit then. Right on board with Baki, who was out on a lap. Paul, of course, in P12. I did get him and Suku confused, by the way. Suku in the Ferrari, Baki in the Red Bull. So they are two different people. I might have called him Suku last week, but Baki is out on track and he is on a lap here in the Red Bull. I don't think he attended last week, so he is brand new to us here in Liga Group Division 1 as he now comes down towards turn number 1. Just breaks to the 100-metre board. Very nice on the brakes. Baki coming through. Now through turns 2 and 3. Very tricky if you run out wide, but beautifully done. This is now going to take the toxic line, as I like to call it, down towards turn 4 now. And fire towards the exit through turn 4. A bit of a lock up. Not that quick out of turn 4, but Baki through the first sector is 600ths up on his time, so not looking too bad so far. Nearly got an invalidation through turn 7, and now through turn 8. So we run about beautiful camera angles as we come through turn 8. You see the grading there, you see the marbles on the inside of the corner. That could really throw off some of the drivers. They may overheat the tyres as well. And Baki completely misses the apex coming through turn 10 there. Very difficult to try and get the tyre wear to really go and grasp a few laps around here in Bahrain. And it's so difficult. This is why I'm in the commentary box. And these guys are out on track doing the work for me, essentially. Baki is on a lap. We've got Montana on a lap just in behind him out on track as well. Baki through the middle sector, yeah, 10th and a half down. It didn't look the greatest middle sector. He obviously missed the apex there through turn 10. But now Baki coming down towards turn number 14 and 15 out on track. Final two corners away, just braking just before the 50-metre board. Very committed on the brakes, maybe too committed on the brakes, and it was too committed. He picked up an invalid lap. So Baki now back into the pit lane. Let's run on board with Montana. He's 2/10 up, coming through the middle sector. And we catch on board with him at the right time. Let's go on board. Let's go from a driver's eye with Montana down towards turns number 14 and 15. Got to get a good run out of here. Could break Alpha Trix's heart with 2 minutes to go in qualifying. Montana going to lay it all on the line. Across the line he comes. Just shy by 7,000ths of a second, you would imagine. But Montana goes second. But that can easily change, of course. Gary out the final corner. Let's run on board with the Irishman, as he might be a contender for around the mid-pack, maybe for a top 10 start here. As now Gary, who has set the same lap time as his teammate as well, will be wanting to out-qualify him. Down in towards turn 1 he goes. Beautiful helmet as well on the Irishman. Division 2 champion, of course, from last year. And Gary now coming through turns 3 and up the hill towards turn 4. Opens up that DRS. Remember, there are 3 DRS zones on this track. One down the start-finish straight, one up towards turn 4, and the other being down the back straight, down towards turn 10. Gary not looking too bad through the first sector. He's 100th down through the first sector. And very much attacking through 7 and now through towards turn 8. Again, we see the drivers opting to go for a high second gear through turn 8 and now through towards turn 9 and 10. You can take that in 7th, down it to 1st, and then try and get the run out. That's what I tend to do anyways. Good job these guys aren't listening to me, because they'll probably spin the car. Gary now with 45 seconds left to go in qualifying. It's Alpha Trix on top, Montana second, Spine in third. Spine and Neil could potentially be the ones that could break Alpha Trix's heart as well. Gary through the middle sector, 200ths up. He's got Rocco just ahead of him out on track. Rocco gets swiftly out of the way, which is good to see, of course. Gary now on the run down towards turns 14 and 15. Trying to lay it all in line here. Campbell on a lap through the middle sector as well. His teammate will try and catch on board with anybody coming up towards the line. I think there is a racing point just in behind as well of Gary. Gary across the line goes 8th for now. Let's see who else is improving out on track. We've got Neo on a lap. That racing point, I think, was Waluigi just starting off on a lap. Killer Blue is down by 3,000ths of a second. Coming through the middle sector. Can the Williams get on top here? Can the Williams, I should say, get on top? Qualifying has ended. Montana and Backy not improving. Killer Blue now around the final corner. A little bit of a lag on his end by the looks, but Killer Blue now across the line. Has he found time in the final sector? He does. He goes third. Nice lap. We've got Alpha Trix down on his time. He will set a provisional pole lap. Spine is down by 200. We've got Neo up by 200 coming through the middle sector and now through towards the line. Can Neo break Alpha Trix? No, he goes third. It's going to be Wild and Wacky. Verstappen goes third. We've got Spine on the lap still coming through the middle sector. Let's see what his middle sector's like. He's 800ths down. He needs to find a lot of time in this final sector to try and challenge. Toxic goes third. So my prediction coming right for now. Hopefully nobody improves. Kuka Games round the final corner. 200ths down. It's getting to the nitty and gritty here in qualifying in Bahrain. Looks like most of the drivers are done on their laps. Kuka Games across the line invalidated. We've got Waluigi 600ths up. We've got just ASAS across the line, goes 17th. Decky is 2/10ths up. He's the next to come across the line as Backy retires from the session. Decky now up towards the line. Got a racing point coming around the final corner, which is Waluigi. 2/10th improvement from Decky. He goes 18th. Waluigi across the line has invalidated, so he won't be improving, and neither will Gary, but Rocco goes 8th. Rocco goes 8th. Gary is the only one yet to come into the pit lane, and he is done on a lap. So Alpha Trix has taken it for Montana in second, and Josh M, who I've just noticed has gone third with a 1:24.5. We were focusing on everyone further down the field. I didn't see Josh jump up, but Josh on his debut as a reserve in Ferrari goes third and breaks my prediction. Alpha Trix on top by 7,000ths of a second. Look at how tight the grid is here for Division 1. Montana in second with Josh in third. Toxic in fourth with Spine in fifth. Verstappen in sixth. Neo in seventh. Rocco in eighth with Killer Blue in ninth. And Campbell rounding off the top 10. Gary in 11th, only 4.5 off Alpha Trix, not too bad at all. Cookie Games in 12th, with Cohen in 13th, Backy 14th, Matty in 15th, while Ouija in 16th, just ASAS in 17th, Decky in 18th, Suku in 19th. Have you ever seen a tighter grid than that? 7.5 tenths separating every single driver out on track. I haven't. But we now get going into the formation lap. And we will see, of course, what strategies everyone decides to pick further down the field from 11th down to 19th. We will see. But the traditional pit strategy around here is possibly our one-stop strategy for those guys who are going mediums, possibly onto hards later on in the race. Don't rule out the chances of safety cars here either in Bahrain. Turn 1 can be quite a concertina affair when you get down towards turn 1. It can be quite tricky. Hopefully we don't see anybody losing their end plate or anything like that here tonight. I'm going to tune in though to the stream and see how you guys are doing. 18 of you watching, which is fantastic to see. If you are new, like, comment and subscribe. Take that notification bell, of course, if you are new to Division 1 here of League of Europe. We've got 407 subscribers. Can we get that to 410 by the end of the night? I think we can. Let's try and share it amongst your family, share it amongst your friends, everything like that. Matthias coming in and saying really happy about Istanbul returning, not that happy with Jerez though. Yeah, Jerez is one of those classic tracks where I don't think the cars will handle that well. And I know they've done a little bit of pre-season testing around there on an off day essentially. So Jerez will be quite interesting if that gets the go-ahead. Paul calls the Alpha Trix, says Montana. That was earlier on in qualifying. And yeah, that is quite an interesting perspective. Alpha Trix on top from Montana second, Josh in third at the end of qualifying. And if you are just tuning in, this is the formation lap, and we are now beginning the formation lap with Alpha Trix, who is our current champion here in League of Europe Division 1. And he is about to set the track alight. Are we going to see another great battle between Alpha Trix and Montana? I really hope we do here tonight. I think Bahrain is one of those tracks where these guys can fight, defend and attack as much as they like without crashing into each other. And hopefully that'll be the case here tonight. It should be very interesting out on track. Let's have a look at the strategies though, from 11th down to 19th. Everyone opting to go for the medium strategy. Like I said, the mediums can be quite good around this track, especially because they tend to heat at a better, they tend to warm up at a better temperature compared to the softs around here. So it will be quite indicative, I think. The only driver that is not starting on the mediums, starting down there right at plumb last position, is Suku, the pole. He is down there in 19th position in the Ferrari. There's the predicted pit stop strategy. 2-stop lap 8 to lap 10 on a set of softs, lap 16 to 17 on a set of mediums, 2-stop lap 7 to lap 10. Didn't see the others, but there are 2-stop strategies being told about. You can get a 1-stop strategy around here, but whether the guys decide to and whether they play it safe and go 2-stop remains to be seen. I've got to be honest, push the boat out, try and go for the 1-stop. It will really save you that time, I think, out on track. But don't listen to me, listen to Jeff. Jeff is the guy that you want to listen to. Do not listen to me, and if you are listening to me, turn me off and focus on your race. Coming now through the final couple of corners with Alpha Tricks, and we are about to get the grid formed for round 2 here of Division 1 for Season 4 of League of Europe. What are your predictions in the comment section? I'm going to go a little bit boring, to be honest, with my top 3. I'm going to go Alpha Tricks for the win, I'm going to go Montana second, and I'm going to go Spine for third. I think Spine will show better race pace than he does qualifying pace, so watch out for him in the race here tonight. And further down the field, Campbell, I think, could be quite an interesting one, could get a top 5 finish out of tonight as well. Be prepared for the graphics glitch on the left hand side, but we are just moments away from League of Europe Division 1. It's round 2 about to begin. The 5 red lights have now started and we're about to get underway. And it is lights and away we go. Alpha Tricks gets a very good start. So does Montana, so does Josh as well. Verstappen has got the lip break on Spine, running down towards turn 1. Spine could lose a couple of positions. Predicted pit stop strategy comes up in towards turn 1. Not the greatest thing as Josh tries to go all the way around the outside. Montana on the inside line. Montana hangs on for second for now, but Toxic is right on the back early on. There's been a little bit of contact further down the field. I think just ASAS is round Matty, but everyone clean so far. Neil was fighting for position with Killer Blue as they come through the first sector, and there is Verstappen trying to go on the inside line and Spine through turn 7. Can he get the job done? He can't. Neil trying to go in there. Matty has retired. He spun it out of turn 4, I think that is. And there's a safety car. I did warn of the prospect of a safety car, but safety car has been deployed. Race neutralisation has been brought. The safety car there coming out the pits on the mini-map, but Alpha Tricks leads, Montana second, Josh in third at the end of the first lap. So no position changes for the top 6. There are the position gains before the safety car came out. Decky has gained 4 positions, the German, from 18th on the grid up to 14th early on. Matty, I think, spinning out of turn 4. Might have got caught on the outside curb, sent him spinning into the wall. I think that's exactly what has happened there. It might be different. He might say otherwise, of course, in the comment section. But that brings quite an interesting perspective now on these 29 laps. With the safety car now in play, are we going to see a change up in the strategies for these guys out on track tonight? Very interesting to see. With it being the first lap, it's too early to say, to be honest, but you could see some of the medium runners decide to go on a set of hards, try and get 2-stop going, and we see Montana actually coming into the pit. So Montana jukes me into the pit lane. How dare you? How dare you? Montana, goodness me. Rocco, Decky, both into the pit lane now by the looks, and we've got Campbell as well into the pit lane as well. It's actually Rocco and Campbell, sorry, I should say, into the pit lane, as well as Cohen. Cohen is into the pit lane in the McLaren. It's glitched out on the left-hand side, as you can see. Spine is not in front. It is Alpha Tricks who leads, Montana second, Josh in third, Toxic fourth, and Verstappen currently filling out the top 5 positions. I think Spine actually is ahead of him out on track. Was behind, I should say, Verstappen out on track. No, he's behind Toxic. Yeah, both AlphaTauris are next to each other. Goodness me. We're seeing the graphics update as they come through the first sector, but we are under a safety car period on lap 2 out of 29, not lap 3 as you see in the top left side of your screen. But it is Alpha Tricks out on top, Montana second, Josh in third. Very good start though, apart from Matty spinning, apart from just Asa spinning as well through turn 1. Very good start. We run on board with Gary, who is the quickest out of the medium runners and has gained a position early on as well. As we see now the graphics update, he's gained 2 positions actually. Killer Blue has also gained 2. We should have the safety car possibly out for another lap, I would think. So it's going to be another time to have a look at the comments section and see how you guys are doing here tonight. And I'll give you an update in case you are not watching Division 3 or Division 4 and you guys want an update on that. Division 3, currently led by Mark from Total Peas in second, XL Hardy in third, and Pelly rounding off the top 4 currently. And Division 4 is NSX Mads who leads, JD Nolan second, Don in third. And that is live, as I've just gone on the streams there. Division 1, though, it is going to be very interesting, I think, out on track, how this safety car period is going to go on. And we should see, I think, another safety car lap. And we are going to see another safety car lap. Cohen not just joining onto the back of the grid, but lap 3 is about to begin. And under the safety car. Well, very good start early on from all of these guys. Alphatrix, Montana, Josh, currently first, second and third, maintaining the positions that they got off the start. Well, I wish I had OBS, because I would have loved to see a start of that, a replay of that start. But Alphatrix did get the jump on Montana. Montana and Josh were finding quite hard and quite heavy in towards turns 1 and 2. Josh tried to go up the inside line of Montana. Montana backed out of that move. Sorry, I should say Josh backed out of that move on Montana. Montana got second, Josh got third. And Toxic was right on the back of them. He got the run up towards turn 4, but didn't. And he remains in 4th with Spine in 5th position. But that was a little update from myself about how we're going. Suku, by the way, into a set of hards. Let's see the pit stops that have been made, actually. Rocco all the way down to Cohen, 16th down to 18th, mediums and hards got on for tyres. Rocco on a set of mediums, Campbell as well on a set of mediums, and Cohen on a set of hards. See a little bit of a packing up of the pack, actually, coming through the middle section. You see, it's actually Suku, who I think is giving 10 car length, but you are allowed to do in Formula 1. You are allowed to give 10 car length, but to be honest, I think get on the back of the driver in front, to be honest. I've seen so many occasions on F1 2020 where guys will pick up a 5-second penalty. They'll serve it up in the pit stops, a 5-second stop go. And honestly, I think these guys have got to get closer and pretty much right onto the back without colliding with some of the guys out on track. It just seems it runs better and nobody picks up a 5-second penalty at all. But it looks like the safety car is going to come in this lap, and we will get back underway very shortly indeed. Yeah, safety car is coming in this lap. The safety car lights are now out, and Alphatrix will begin to back up the pack. Everyone quite evenly spaced out as we come through the top 10. Montana actually trying to go around the outside, briefly went ahead of Alphatrix. But remember, these guys cannot pass until they get to the safety car line and until we get that green flag going. But we see all 18 cars now come into our shot. Beautiful shot there, actually. And Alphatrix will decide when to go. He'll go before the final corner, I'm certain of that. As he now backs up the back and now goes, and he's really split Montana in half there, coming down towards 14 and 15, and Alphatrix will lead on to lap 4, out on track. Montana second, Josh in third, but we've already got Verstappen on the back of Spine. Let's have a look on board with this, because the Alfa Romeo now under pressure from the Alpha Tauri, and Verstappen just sailed on by, uses the overtake mode to good effect, and he's now through and he's up to 5th position. And here comes Killer Blue down the inside as well, trying to get the move done. There he is on the inside line of Spine. We go on board actually with Verstappen. Now Killer Blue, and Spine holds on to the position for now, but look at Neo, he's on the back as well. The German having a very good start. Suku down a couple of positions off the start as well. Gary is down a position off Kuki Games, and that is Killer Blue going down the inside of Spine, gets the job done through turn 4. Fantastic move by Killer Blue, and he's through and he's up into 6th position. Neo was all off the back though. Can the German try and get the move done on Spine? These guys have got to be very careful on those tyres, but very good start by everyone. Alphatrix out in front, Montana second, Josh in third. We remain as we are pretty much. It's Verstappen who has got past Spine as the one that is the chief loser. He's on for my provisional 3rd position out on track, I said in my prediction, but yeah, that's not going according to plan so far. And he is dropping down the field. He might be just overheating the tyres slightly, as Neil now is under pressure slightly from Kuka Games, 7/10 of a second as we come up the hill through turn 12, but a very good restart, which is good to see. Alphatrix leads by a second. DRS will be enabled on lap 6 of this race. Of course, they can't enable the DRS. They can certainly use up the ERS though, the energy recovery system, which essentially, in layman's terms, is breaking into the corner. They recharge the energy that they can use. Montana now trying to use up a little bit of that energy to try and get closer. It's 7.5 tenths, probably about 7 tenths as he comes down towards turn 1. Got Josh in behind as well. Further down the field though, Campbell looking to try and get the overtake done on Just ASAS, and actually Just ASAS getting quite close here to the back of Rocco. Oh, and Campbell has to change course quite literally. Just ASAS runs into the back of Rocco, I think that was. He lost the left side end plate. So now Just ASAS down into 15th. It might have been actually It was, yeah, right side end play of just ASOS. Just seen that. And now Campbell launches it down the inside. The move that he was trying to do down in towards turn 1, he's got done. Down in towards turn 4. Just ASOS let through his teammate, and he let through Suku as well. Suku now up to 17. And just ASOS, just a little bit late on the brakes on the back of Rocco. He got right side end plate damage and is now down to 18th position. Lap 5 though, here in Bahrain. 5.5 if you're being picky. Alphatrix leads, Montana second, Josh in third, Toxic in fourth. We run on board actually with Toxic, 7/10 of a second off the back of Josh. And Josh, remember, is a Division 1 reserve here tonight in the Ferrari. I think replacing Larkin, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. I'll try to remember the driver's lineup before I come live. If I'm wrong about that, then put it in the comments and correct me on that. I stand to be corrected, but Toxic is on the back of Josh. Of course, these guys will run in a bit of a DRS train. What we mean by that is the guys will essentially not get a chance to overtake. It's going to be quite difficult. DRS now enabled, so we will see the DRS now come into effect. I think on the run up towards turn 4, should see the detection point on the exit of turn 2. And Toxic on the back of Josh. We should see the DRS. You can see it in the bottom right of your screen. DRS will soon be enabled. Toxic fighting control of the car. Coming out of turn 3. Just ASOS, by the way, into the pits to repair that right side end plate damage that he picked up on the back of Rocco. But not much going on in terms of battling, to be honest. We've got Baki on the back of Decky. Decky making up good ground early on the German. And of course, Baki, the pole, is on the back. And Luigi and Rocco are just in behind this as well. Josh has picked up the first 3-second time penalty of the night. But in the meantime, Gary looks like he's coming back to these guys as well. Gary might be just struggling for a little bit of pace. He's dropped to Kooky Games. We run on board with him now through turn 10. And Decky will be on the back of him. Campbell's getting onto the back of Rocco. These guys are pitted earlier on, of course, under the safety car. And they are trying to really get forward through the race. But towards the end of lap 7, still right on board with Baki, who was on the back of Decky. This is the closest battle out on track for now. If anything happens further down the field, by God, I will get there and cover it. Baki runs wide there through turn 13. Cohen, 3-second time though. Just a slight overrun, I think, of the curve there. And now Baki down towards turn 12. Gary could be under pressure from Decky as we come out of turn number 15. And I don't think he's going to be close enough for a move, to be honest. Somebody that might be is Rocco on the back of Waluigi. We see the pit window now open on the right-hand side. Up 7 to 9 mediums for a 2-stop strategy. If anybody decides to come into the pit then for that 2-stop strategy. No overtakes done down in towards turn 1, but we see Baki on the back of Decky. Is the Red Bull going to get onto the back of the Renault? He's going to use up a little bit of overtake mode there as Toxic picks up a 3-second time penalty on the exit of turn 4. And it's Alphatrix who leads 1 3/4 of a second, leading 1.8 seconds now from Montana second. Josh in third. Montana might be just struggling for a little bit of pace. We'll go on board with Montana. He's got Josh and Toxic on the back of him as well. Very late on the brakes there, Toxic, as you ride on board. But not looking too bad. There's not really, as I say, many overtaking opportunities for these guys. It could be one of those days for me where I don't cover any overtakes and then it all kicks off right towards the end of the race. But Montana definitely is dropping the pace, and Josh now really beginning to lay it down. And Josh having a very good debut so far. He's only 4/10 off the back of Montana. He uses a little bit of overtake mode as he gets closer. 3/10 away now. The Ferrari on the back of the Alfa Romeo, I should say, not the AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri, of course, is behind. That is Toxic. But now we should see a clean overtake for Josh on the back of Montana. Down the straight. Job done. Josh is through and he's up to second, and Montana, he will fight back, Montana, but he won't on this occasion, and it is Josh who gets into P2 out on track. Montana P3, now Toxic P4. Spine is into the pit lane. Onto a set of hards he goes. He could go one stop towards the end of the race. Could be quite difficult though to get those tyres to the end. He will come out in 17th position. But we'll go back on board with Toxic, who was on the back of Montana. These guys, in the past, where I've covered a battle in another league, Montana and Toxic have really... Toxic will be very keen to try and get one over Montana here, I bet you that. So Montana now is under pressure from Toxic. Not too much pressure. Verstappen just locking up there in the background. He's got Killer Blue on the back, 4/10 away. And Cookie Games getting close to the back of Neil as well. Neil's really dropped the pace. I'm not sure, has he had a little bit of a moment, I wonder? No, actually, Spine pitted in front of him, so that's why the gap is now 2.8 seconds. That makes sense. As we see, Neil under pressure from Cookie Games. This is the time, I think, where we're going to see the switch from the mediums, from the softs to the mediums in terms of tyre management and in terms of tyre wear out on track. The mediums will begin to operate at a better temperature, and it's just proven there, to be honest, as Neil lost that at turn 13. Cookie Games now on the back. Don't we see any of the leaders come into the pit lane just yet? We do actually. Montana is in, Verstappen is in as well, Toxic and Neo are in as well, and Killer Blue is in as well. Toxic actually not Verstappen, I should say, out of the AlphaTauris. But we're right on board with Montana if we can get to him. If we can get to him, we'll run on board with this train though in the meantime, down towards turn 1. Nobody looking for the overtake just there. Montana though, everyone going into a set of hards, could last towards the end of the race. If there is another safety car period though, could bring about a lot of change in the order. There is Spine, by the way, who is going to get Killer Blue, I think, out of the pit lane. There's Killer Blue to the right hand side. It's going to be very tight, and I think Spine has just overdone that on the brakes. He's going to have the run out through turn 2, side by side. Here we go for net P4 out on track currently, Spine and Killer Blue. Spine has got the run just about. Killer Blue on the back of him. Now down towards turning to there. He's there on the inside of Williams. The Alfa Romeo just about hangs on, and Killer Blue has to give way. Spine holds on for P15 out on track, but that is currently for net P3 or net P4 out on track. So Spine getting that job done, just about getting the pace over Killer Blue. And now Killer Blue will come back at him. Campbell's trying to get close to Rocco in the meantime further up the field. Come on to that in just a second. But looks like Killer Blue is not going to close in. So we'll run on board with that battle between... It's the wrong battle that we're going on board with. In fact, it's not, because Campbell is actually on the back of Rocco. It is the right battle we're going on board with. The Scotsman on the back of the Brit. Oh, and Campbell nearly loses it out of the final corner. Good recovery by the Scotsman. But now it could bring about a little bit of change, because Rocco is trying to close in on Waluigi. Alphatrix is into the pits. Verstappen into the pits. Josh is into the pits as well. So the top 3 are in. And everyone not making a move down towards turn 1. So there is Alphatrix. Tanner coming across the start-finish line now. He's going to be behind Josh, I think, coming out the pit lane. He will. Montana's going to be out behind Josh by at least 0.5 of a second coming out the pit lane. So Josh has managed an undercut on Montana. Montana now has got to try and prove why he is the Division 2 champion from 2 seasons ago, and now try and defeat the newbie into the league of Josh M97. Josh, though, has got very good pace, and he is showing it here tonight. He could even bring a little bit of a fight to Alphatrix. That could be quite interesting. Newbie against current defending champion here in League of Europe Division 1. 1 lap 10, by the way. Cookie Games leads. Gary second, Decky in third. It's very indicative, though, of what has happened so far in the race, because we've had a safety car period. We've got Rocco currently in the net lead of the race with Campbell second, Cohen in third. They all pitted under the safety car. Everyone else, though, Alphatrix, Josh, Montana, Toxic, basically all the way down to just ASAS, they've all pitted after the safety car period and in the traditional pit window. It's going to be quite interesting. We've got a bit of 2 races going on, pretty much. That's the best way I can describe it. As we see Rocco on the back of Waluigi. Can the Belgian be under pressure here from the Brit? Looks like it could be quite close down towards turn 1. Waluigi just using up a bit of overtake mode to get away from Rocco. He's using that up to good effect. Rocco again will try and use that up down towards turn 1, but not quite close enough. And we remain in position from 2nd all the way down to 8th. This battle is for Gary, Decky, Baki, Waluigi, Rocco, Campbell and Cohen all battling as they all fly through shot. We're here in the desert, of course, in Bahrain on lap 11 out of 29. And hopefully it is going to be a track that is going to be hosting some real-life races as well on the calendar. Could be forming up to be rounds 18 and 19, apparently, on the calendar. And we could get, I have heard, anyways, a 21-race calendar with Abu Dhabi obviously coming in the final. Actually, I might have just done my maths there. 20 races, I should say, not 21. Campbell on the back of Rocco in short term. Baki as well on the back of Decky. These guys have been going at it for quite a while, the German and the Pole. And Baki obviously trying to get the job done here on the back of Baki. on the back of Decky, I should say. I'm getting confused. They're both pretty much similar names, and I'm getting confused with them. So that is why I might be messing up with them both. Gary looks like he's getting away from these guys now, so that could bring Baki and Decky now to fight down towards turn 1, and these guys could be costing behind. The likes of Luigi, Rocco, Campbell especially, who've all pitted in. This is Baki's opportunity to possibly get the move done. You can see him getting closer and closer. The Red Bull coming in on the Renault, closing in on the Renault, but now down towards turn 1, not going to go close enough for the move. As we see, developing story as well. Montana trying to get onto the back of Josh. Josh is hanging on in there, 1.9 seconds to the back of Alphatrix, which is not too bad on that. 12 out of 29. Kuka Games leads, Gary 2nd, Decky in 3rd, Baki 4th, Luigi 5th, Rocco 6th, Campbell 7th, Koen 8th, Suku 9th, Alphatrix in 10th. Killer Blue in the meantime on the back of Spine, and we join this in perfection timing because Killer Blue now down the inside gets the move done, and he's zoomed up to P15. So that was absolute perfection in terms of timing. Killer Blue through, he's up to P15. Fantastic stuff. We saw Campbell as well getting onto the back of Rocco, very close, about a 10th of a second away, but now 4/10 of a second as they come down the straight. The Scotsman really fighting here with the Brit, but they are stuck in that DRS train, the drag reduction system train, and of course the DRS will give a little bit of energy and a little bit more power down the straights. There are 3 opportunities, of course, for overtaking. The F1. The FIA want to try and promote a lot of overtaking on this track, and to be honest, it really ruins it. When you have a car's lining from 2nd to 8th on the grid, it really does my head in, to be honest. I want to see a lot of overtaking. We're not going to get that as Decky actually comes into the pit lane. Now frees up Luigi onto the back of Baki, but again, he's not going to be close enough for the move. So Decky into the pit lane, could take it hard to the end, as he now comes into his pit box. That is a set of white wall tyres out for him. So now Decky is into the pit lane. Nobody close enough in the back of shot as we fly through. Decky will rejoin in P17. Just ASAS, of course, pitting with that right tail end plate damage. He will go 2-stop, probably set of softs to the end of the race. He could make those tyres go, but I think they're going to be quite shot towards the end of the race. As we see, Baki on the back of Gary. And now, actually, Luigi and Rocco swap positions. Rocco down the inside. Very late on the brakes, I think that was from Rocco. Gets the job done though. So Rocco through, and he's up into P4 and puts Luigi now in between himself and Campbell. So that's going to be quite interesting. So Campbell now has got to fight through a little bit of traffic here. Luigi hasn't pitted just yet. Campbell has. He pitted under the safety car, of course. And we're also getting a bit of a battle further down the field. Alphatrix on the back of Suku, our defending champion, coming into tonight. Alphatrix hopefully is going to be providing a very good result out on track. Suku now around the final couple of corners. Now if you turn 13 and through 14, to be honest, Alphatrix is lining this up, I think, for a goal down in towards turn 1. Suku just floors it with the overtake mode there. Nearly halfway through, Kuka Games leads, and Kuka Games in fact into the pit lane. Baki now leads us on to lap 14. So we're nearly halfway through. We see Campbell now on the back of Luigi. Belgian under pressure here from the Scotsman. The Scotsman again very much late on the brakes. And Alphatrix as well. Suku defends the inside line. Alphatrix trying to go around the outside, all the way around the outside. Suku nearly forcing him off track, but no way he was going to try and break that at all. Alphatrix is through. Defends the inside line. Weaves actually with Suku's defensive line being taken. Might be a little bit of a report going on there maybe, but Alphatrix is through, and he's up into 6th position. Fair as you like, Suku had all the right to defend. He might have just locked up going down towards turn 1, which forced Alphatrix to go down the inside through turn 2. I think he was trying to line him up so he could get the switch back out of 3 and then up the hill towards 4. Didn't work, he had to do it early. Alphatrix through though, and he's pacing away from Suku now, and it's already a second. Suku just within DRS range though. Campbell on the back of Luigi. As I've got to clear my throat there. I've got a little bit of hay fever still coming up. But Baki leads the way. Rocco 2nd, Luigi 3rd, Campbell in 4th. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. If you have just tuned in, if you're wondering what has went on, you can go and watch this back right from the beginning. But you will miss all the live action that is happening out on track. So I really don't recommend you doing that. Campbell is on the back of Luigi though. And now Campbell Switches to the outside line. Waluigi will defend to the inside line. They're both using up a bit of overtake mode here, and it's going to be a bit of a drag race down towards turn 1. The Scotsman against the Belgian, and the Belgian lets him through. Campbell through, and he's up into second. Backy from the lead of the race is into the pits as well. He goes on to a set of hards, and Josh is down the inside of Montana. Brilliant move, but the Brit just forced him off track slightly. Could bring Suku into play. Suku actually holding up Toxic a little bit. Toxic now can get the run out on Suku, and Montana looks at sitting duck possibly as well. Toxic is through on Suku, but Toxic doesn't go for the move on the back of Montana. This is heating up for an P2 out on track between Josh, Montana and Toxic. Runnable right at the right time there as Josh darted down the inside of Montana. Montana might feel hard done by. He got forced out of track a little bit, but Josh through, and he's up into 6th. To be honest, it's hard, but it's fair racing, I think. That's what we can call it. 15th and 16th battle going on as well. Decky fresh out the pit lane. Gary sells him the dummy down the inside. The Irishman gets the move done. Beautifully timed again with these camera angles. Gary is through, and he's up into 15th position. The Division 2 champion making light work, I've got to say, of Decky there. So very good stuff indeed. We've got Rocco leading the way, who has pitted in early. Campbell in 2nd, Waluigi in 3rd. So the top 3 out of the top 4 pitted under the safety car was Rocco, Campbell and Waluigi, and Cohen. Sorry, it's Rocco now decides to come into the pits. Cohen is staying out, he's onto the back now of Waluigi. But now Waluigi closing right up to the back of Campbell. And I think we're going to see a battle possibly between Montana and Toxic down towards turn 1. Certainly see from Montana's perspective, there is Toxic. And Montana gets very close to the back of Josh, but Josh hangs fire in a net P5 currently. It is in P5 currently. It is a net P2 though, out on track. Rocco onto another set of mediums. He's going to come out right in the thick of the action. He's going to come out right behind Gary, it seems. And there's Decky trying to go around the outside of him, but it looks like Rocco was settled in quite nicely, I think. Oh, and that was that? No, that was just me predicting the inevitable. I thought somebody had spun there. Rocco trying to go around the outside. It was the yellow boarding to the left-hand side. Rocco now on fresh mediums has made very light work of Gary. Division 2 champion, absolutely mullered. Rocco was through, and he's up into 14th position. And now he can focus on the chase of possibly Kooky Games and Neo ahead of him. So that's going to be very interesting to see him in the second half of the race. Rocco could be one of those guys that you might not have to rule out for top 10 finish here tonight. Cohen on the back of Waluigi. Lap 16 out of 29. I better go on to lap 17. Campbell leads, Waluigi 2nd, Cohen in 3rd. These 3 are the guys now that haven't pit just yet. Waluigi hasn't pitted. The other 2 have, Campbell and Cohen, pitting under the safety car, and they're going to go on for another lap at least. Waluigi is not close enough to the back of Campbell. Cohen could be. He's not using up that overtake mode to good effect. He doesn't use it up at all down towards turn 1. Josh finding off the attentions of Montana for now. Montana getting out pace, I would say, if I've got to be honest, by Josh. And Josh is eating into that advantage on the back of Alphatrix. It's 1.5 seconds now, the gap. Could be very intriguing to see how this is going to progress through the second half of this race. If we get another safety car, of course, it could be very interesting indeed, and it could throw the race completely and utterly wide open. Backy, by the way, is through on Decky. That's through turns 2 and 3. I'm going to cut on board with that very quickly because they are side by side. But Backy looks like he's through. Decky's going to try and get him down towards turn 4. Very late on the brakes from Decky, and he careers into the side of Backy. Backy now trying to go around the outside through turn 7. Red Bull does it, round the outside, fantastic stuff, a little bit of contact, but I think Backy had control of the car. He got the move done, and he's through, and he's up to P16. Very good racing again, hard but fair. Decky just completely locked up the brakes, essentially used Backy as a little bit of a brake marker there, if I've got to be honest. He shouldn't have committed the move. Backy then in turn switched it back, ran the outside of turn 7, got the move done, and he's now through, and he's up into 16th position. Fantastic stuff from the pole. Cohen then on the back of Waluigi. This is for second as Decky is disconnected from the session as well. Fastest lap, by the way, is currently Alphatrix with the 1:28.8, but now Campbell into the pit lane and brings Waluigi and Cohen now for a fight for the lead, and it is McLaren against the Red Bull, the Racing Point I should say, out on track. Nobody close enough down towards turn 1 it seems. There is Alphatrix getting onto the back of these guys as well. These guys of course still have to pit, so they've gone for the wrong strategy you would argue. But now Cohen, is he going to have a run up the hill towards turn number 4? No. Well, Luigi hangs fire, and the Racing Point man hangs on into the lead of the race, but for how long? You can see those blistering tyres on that set of mediums. Can go soft towards the end of the race. We've got a good battle with Verstappen getting past Suku. That was down towards turn 4. He got the move done down the inside there. Cohen is, though, on the back of Waluigi, and look who is hunting these guys down. It is Alphatrix on the back, and the Williams is looking for fresh blood. He is pulling away now from Josh. It's 1.7 seconds, now 1.8 as he comes out of turn 10. Cohen now switches to the inside. It should be light work of the Belgian, and it is. Cohen through the Dutchman, and he's through past Waluigi for the lead of the race. So Cohen now leads. Waluigi second, Alphatrix in third. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. It's just ASAS that has spun through the middle sector. That's through turn 7. Very tricky corner to get wrong at the worst of times, and now just ASAS has to recover that car. In the meantime, we're going board with Alphatrix, who was on the back, as Campbell has got through on Gary. That's a switcheroo, I think, for the Mercedes. So Campbell now through on a set of softs up to 14th, and here comes Alphatrix on the back. Waluigi makes it easy for him. He just gets out of the way completely, and into the pit lane he goes. So now the focus of attention is Alphatrix, now on the back of Cohen. This is for the lead of the race. And we'll run on board as well with Neo, who is getting close to the back of Spine. And here comes the German on the back of the Swiss man. Is he going to defend to the inside line, Spine? No, he doesn't. Neo has the room down the inside line. Can he get the move done? Trying to go around the outside. Beautiful stuff by the Renault man. And the German is through on the Swiss man. Neo's through and he's up into 9th position. Spine now down to 10th. Fantastic action out on track. Suku, by the way, still yet to pit. Cohen, by the way, still yet to pit as well. So those two are the only ones that have either pitted under the safety cars. Just ASOS has retired in the pit lane. That won't be a safety car, I don't think. And could want a VSC sometimes, but I don't think that'll be a safety car unless he does leave the session. In the meantime, Alphatrix is on the back of Cohen. Going to make light work, I think, now. The Brit down the inside of the Dutchman. Yeah, Alphatrix is through and he's into the lead of the race. We're getting some really good overtaking in the second half of the race. All for positions. Few of them out of position, I've got to say, in relevance to the race, but it now brings Alphatrix into the lead of the race. Yellow flag in sector 1 is for just ASAS. His car is now retiring out on track. It's stupid. It should just retire essentially into the pit lane. But now that car gets out of the way on the exit of turn 2, and we will go back to green flag racing in that sector as we come through. On to lap 20 we go. 10 more laps to go. Alphatrix leads. Cohen into the pits. Josh now second, Montana in third, and this is where the traffic pretty much ends. Suku, I think, should be coming into the pits as well. Yeah, he's going to get rid of that position. He came into the pit from, I think, 6th or 7th. But now, a three-way battle for second is beginning to develop. Josh keeping very consistent to Montana. Montana keeping consistent to Toxic. Toxic, you could argue, is quicker out of these three for now. And to be honest, my prediction, I said Spine for third. It's not going according to plan, but if I stuck with my prediction, possibly in qualifying, then I think we would be getting somewhere. But obviously not. Alphatrix leads 1.2 seconds. Josh is eating into that advantage though. Montana in third, Toxic fourth. Might have been the case where Alphatrix actually got held up slightly by Cohen before he came into the pit lane. And now Josh getting onto the back. Montana as well, 6 tenths away. And you would feel that Montana could be in a striking distance at any point to try and get the move done on the back of Josh. But Alphatrix leading the way. Josh in second, Montana in third, Toxic in fourth. Verstappen had a good race, but a lonely race now in fifth. He is our Division 2 commentator, and Division 2 and Division 5 will be live at 8 o'clock on the dot. So if you want to tune in for more League of Europe action, you can tune in for that. There's Daka and Verstappen taking you through for Division 2. Not quite certain on the Division 5 commentators, but there will be a live stream, I can guarantee you that. Here comes Montana on the back. I said he might be within striking distance at any time. Here he goes. He's going to go around the outside of turn 1. On the back of Josh, the Ferrari. The Alfa Romeo just locks up. He's going to go switch back through the inside of turn 2, now through turn 3. But Montana not good enough to try and get the move done. Now up the hill towards turn 4. Going to use up every ounce of that overtake mode. Now switches to the inside line. Josh sees what's coming. Montana diving it down the inside. A little bit of side-by-side contact there, possibly. Montana getting it done the hard way. Used him as a little bit of a breaking point, to be honest, but Montana is through and he's up into second position. Josh, though, will not back down without a fight. He will try and force Montana into a mistake, but he's got to be careful. What does he do? Does he force Montana into the mistake, or does he let Toxic go and get Montana, and then Josh thinks about longer term in the race on a lap pressure tyres to try and get Montana towards the end of the race? It could work in two ways, and you know what? God works in mysterious ways. Josh, I think, could be a god out on track, as he will try and get onto the back of Montana once again. We see Kuka Games now going past Spine. He makes a mistake. Campbell's on the back of Rocco. Well, he's not on the back of Rocco now because he's gone past. Campbell through and he's up into P10. Really excelling out on track is Campbell, the QVR man. And he is again our head of GT Sport now, actually, and it is, I was speaking to him in a party on Wednesday when I had my GT Sport race, and he is well spoken, Campbell. He is a very well spoken young lad, and Campbell is doing fantastic stuff out on track as well. He's got Spine 5/10 up the road, Rocco 4/10 behind him. Shouldn't worry about Rocco, I think. He's on a set of mediums, but now Campbell on a set of softs, sets about trying to get him. But now Neo on the back of Killer Blue. This is P6 and P7. At 22 out of 29, Alpha Trix lead, Montana second, Josh in third, but Neo very late on the brakes, maybe a little too late on the brakes, but he has got the move done. He's through and he's up into P6. Fantastic move there by the Renault, but this is now beginning to expand back. You see the line of cars pretty much all the way down. This is a split pack from 6th down to 11th and then 12th down to 15th. As now Cohen gets onto the back of Gary, down the inside line he goes. Can he get the move done on a fresh set of softs? No, he has a snap of oversteer coming out. And Gary hangs on for P14. Cohen currently in P15 out on track. You see Campbell now all over the back of Spine once again. Trying to provide you with as much action as possible. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I am trying to mix the camera angles up as well, as we now see a little bit of a DRS train beginning to form. Rocco now looks like I thought he had his DRS open. Here comes Campbell down the inside of Spine. Can he get the move done? Spine hangs around the outside. This is going to be brave stuff from Spine if he can do so, but I'm afraid it's a losing battle because Campbell is around the outside through turn 12, gets the move done. Nice side-by-side racing there between them both, but it was only going to go one way on that fresh set of softs. Campbell's through and he's up to 9th, and here comes Rocco on the back of Spine as well. Rocco really excelling here. It's only his second race in League of Europe Division 1, and he's got the attitude of a potential top 10 finisher here tonight. Here he goes, he's on the back now of Spine. There is Spine to the left hand side of him, and eventually it could be Spine to the back of him. Rocco later on the brakes was Spine, but Rocco's got the move done. He's through and he's up to P10. Cohen has got the move done down the straight, just in the background of shot there. Gets the move done, he's up into 13th as well. A lot of good overtaking, a lot of clean driving here tonight of what we're covering out on track. It might be a different story for some of the guys out on track. I'm sure the few stewards reports will be put in. Like that one there, that was not a 3-second time penalty from Campbell, as he obviously is on a set of softs. The stewards might give him a little bit of leniency on that. We will have 5 more laps to go after the end of this one. I've got another commentary after this one, so it's literally going to be me hot-footing it into the Project Cars 2 commentary box for CRC in just a little while. Campbell, though, on the back of Kooky Games. Is he going to get the move done down in towards turn number 11 out on track? I don't think he will. No, 2.5 tenths down. So, Kooky Games on a set of hards, Campbell on a set of softs. You would imagine it will only go one way, but paper can be ripped up on occasion. I think it could be the case. Kooky Games will put up a staunch defence, but he runs wide actually through turn number 14, or 13 I should say. Now Campbell is on the back of him. Is he going to try and go down the inside? No, he doesn't. We see a little bit of a lag moment going on there with Killer Blue and Kooky. Red bar connection, but there goes Campbell. Now past Kooky Games, down the inside. Kooky Games will go back into the slipstream, and he'll try going down the inside. We've got Killer Blue trying to go down the inside as well of Neo. But job done for Campbell, and he's through and he's up into 8th position. He's beginning to let Spine get back into the group here as well. Gary's been overtaken by Backy further down the field as well. So Backy now through to P14. Gary now 15th as a result of a move done out on track. It is Alpha Trix though who leads. And we'll have 5 more laps to go after this one, I should say. 5 more laps to go after this one. Alpha Trix lead, Montana in second. Got the move done on Josh, of course, down towards turn 1. Got the move done on now Montana second, Josh in third, Toxic fourth, Verstappen in 5th. Here comes Campbell, and look at Rocco and Kuka Games actually. Rocco's trying to go around the outside, Kuka Games on the inside line, side by side through turn 10. You never see this out on track. This is fantastic stuff. Campbell's going to try and get the move done on Killer Blue as well. But Rocco on the back of Kuka Games. Can he go for a dive bomb down the inside? He does. He has a little bit of a think. Kuka Games backs off the move. To be honest, if I've got to be honest, Rocco's given up that close, and to be honest, I think he should be fair. I think Kuka Games should have that position back, but for what cost, because Spine is literally up the rear end of Kuka Games. Fantastic race out on track here. The Spine is on the back of Kuka Games, but now Campbell on the back of Killer Blue. And Killer Blue actually on the back of Neo. Neo is a sitting duck, possibly down in towards turn 1. Here comes the Williams, late on the brakes. Can he have a dive bomb down the inside? No, Campbell nearly went into the rear end of Killer Blue there as well. But who's going to get the superior run out? Is it going to be Campbell on the back of Killer Blue? Let's see that as the Scotsman fights with the Brit down towards turn 4. Not good enough though. Kuka Games again goes for a move down the inside. Tried a hard break down in towards turn 4. Rocco has got that position back. He's through and he's up into 9th position. Kuka Games now maybe trying to go for slightly aggressive moves on Rocco. Obviously Rocco forced his way through turn 11. And we are coming to that point out on track tonight as well. Or now I should say out on track. But Rocco is now under pressure from Kuka Games. And is he within DRS range? No. So this is Kuka Games' opportunity, but look at the gap. It's 4/10 of a second. He's not going to get the move done down in towards turn 11. Alphatrix still leads, by the way. Montana second, Josh in third. Not many changes happening further down the field. Top 5 have pretty much remained, I think, as they are. Top 4 certainly have. Most position gains are, well, Luigi and Suku 3 positions gained. Verstappen 1, Neo 1 for 5th and 6th. But we're going to see a grandstand finish, I think, with 4 laps to go. Neo under pressure from Killer Blue, but now equally Killer Blue under pressure from Campbell. Is this the opportunity that Campbell needs? Is this the opportunity that Campbell wants to go down the inside of turn 1? No, is the answer to that. Simple answer, no. Neo hangs on for 6th, Killer Blue hangs on for 7th. Campbell, you would argue, is now beginning to get him washed in this dirty air, and it is now forcing him possibly into Rocco's clutches. It's a second the gap. Here comes Kuka Games as well on the back of Rocco. Not getting the move done there. Cohen is really flying through the field as well. He's now on the back of Spine, really excelling. He's got a strategy completely right, I think, because he's out of position slightly. Cohen has had a good race and he is gaining positions through the field after his qualifying start of P13. So he's only gained 1 position out on track. Decky, by the way, is still going round out on track. He must have came into the pits off my camera angle anyways. He's down there in 17th and still continuing. Top 12 only get the point, of course, here in League of Europe. It's not the case where in TTML, of course, we get top 19 get positions. It will only be the top 12 out on track. So it's really going to be a case of put it all on the line in the final couple of laps. We'll have 3 more after this one. Alphatrix comes across the line to lead. Montana is in 2nd. Josh in 3rd. Toxic in 4th. They are getting close to a battle there, the top 3. Of Montana, Josh and Toxic, I should say. But the battles have been happening further down the field. And this is why I've been covering this further down the field. Josh has got a better run out as we now see Cohen fly past Spine, surely down towards turn number 1. And yeah, Cohen is through down the inside. Spine will try and fight this. But McLaren through on Alfa Romeo could be quite interesting for the constructors, that one. Cohen is through on Spine. And here comes Killer Blue's opportunity. Campbell's opportunity on the back of Killer Blue. Mercedes on the back of the Williams. And the Renault as well of Neo. Just about finding off attentions here. Neo had very good pre-season pace, but he's just been outdone by the likes of Alphatrix, Montana, and Josh, who's fresh into the grid here tonight, doing a fantastic job. Give him the Ferrari seat, maybe, if there's this opening later on in the season. That's what I think, anyways. Campbell on the back of Killer Blue. But Montana dropping 2.1 seconds. Alphatrix has absolutely flown away now. Out on track. And it is going to be Alphatrix for the win. Montana 2nd. So I'm at least going to get that part of my prediction right. Spine was the other one that I said for 3rd. Yeah, gloss over that, I think, if you are a predicting man like me. And if you put Spine in your top 3, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Toxic has dropped off the back of Josh. He could be selling for P4, but now This is it, Josh. This could be a move down the inside towards turn 1. Montana will try and defend, will try and push him all the way across the track. He doesn't actually, and Josh makes it look quite easy. He's through on the penultimate lap of the race and he's up into second position. He needed that. Josh got through very cleanly, and Montana now beginning to struggle with his little bit of tyres, I wonder. Now Montana on the back of Josh once again. Killer Blue has got the move done, I think, on Neo down towards turn 1. This is a good battle, actually. Killer Blue has got the move done on Neo, and now Campbell is right on the back of Neo as well. Neo's going to come back, though, at Killer Blue. I swapped camera angles just for a second. But now Campbell on the back. There's Rocco, there's Kooky Games, there's Cohen, and there's Spine. Again, joining into play as well. A 7-car train, pretty much all the way down to 12th position. Killer Blue, Neo, Campbell, Rocco, Kooky Games, Cohen, and Spine. Could be quite interesting on this one. Campbell now trying to go around the outside of turn 10. No way, no way is he going to do that. Scotsman backs off. Kooky Games, Cohen trying to get a switch back there on Kooky. He just had a bit of a slide coming out the corner, and this is Cohen's opportunity. Cohen now on the back of Kooky Games. We've only got one more lap to go after this one in Bahrain. Alphatrix leads, Josh second, Montana in third. A fantastic race. I think we've got Vietnam coming up next week for Division 1 and for all divisions, in fact, in League of Europe. So it's going to be very interesting. And also we've got Formula 2 action happening on Tuesday night as well. Aiden Carter and Dakar taking you through that one, of course. Final lap of the race, Alphatrix leads, Josh second, Montana third. Montana is not close enough down towards turn 1. Campbell, though, is he close enough to the back of Neil? This is the opportunity. He needs to make it stick. Down the inside and towards turn 1. He's going to have to be forced all the way around the outside. We've got Kooky Games and Rocco going side by side. Campbell very late on the brakes, trying to get the softs around the outside through turn 1. Now through turn 2. Leans on him slightly, a little bit of contact. Campbell's through and he's up into P7. We've got Kooky Games through on Rocco in the meantime as well. It's all kicking off in the background as Cohen has now got through on Rocco. Rocco has been absolutely mullered for 2 positions there, down from 9th into 11th. And now Spine is on the back of this as well. It's beginning to split up this pack. 4th, 6th position. Killer Blue now through. Campbell now through. Neil now has got Kooky Games on the back, and nearly into the back of him goes Kooky Games. But towards the final few laps we go. Decky, of course, I should say disconnected. I'll correct myself from earlier on. As Spine tries to go around the outside of turn 10 on Rocco. That's a bit of a late one, but he doesn't get the move done, and Rocco hangs on for P11. Kooky Games on the back of Neil. Neil under pressure. Here comes Kooky Games down the inside. No, he can't. Kooky Games just about hanging on, but this is really tense stuff. Alphatrix is through the final corner though, and he is going to win out on track. Alphatrix is going to take the win here in Bahrain. Round 2 goes to Alphatrix. Montana finishes in second. Josh picked up penalties. Toxic across the line in 4th. He didn't get penalties this week, which is good. We see everyone flash across the line. Verstappen now in 5th as Killer Blue, comes across the line in 6th. It's a drag race to the line between Kooky and Neo. Kooky just about gets Neo for 7th position in the end because of penalties. My goodness me, what an ending. Kooky Games 7, Neo 8, Spine 9th, Cohen 10th, Luigi 11th, Baki 12th, Campbell 13th, Rocco 14th, Gary 15th. There's Suku across the line in 16th. Decky, of course, not finishing as a result of a disconnect. But the top 16 get home, and it is Alphatrix your win, but your driver of the day, with that finale of an ending, it is Kooky Games, the Slovenian, who takes driver of the day. So, to the top step of the podium goes Alphatrix. And after the first 2 rounds, Montana won, Alphatrix won, and we're tied for the championship lead, which is fantastic. I think Alphatrix actually might have got the fastest lap of the race, if I'm not mistaken. Fantastic racing though out on track. It is Alphatrix who wins, Montana in second, and in the end, in third was Josh. He drove a very good race on his debut, and could be more for him to come later on as the season goes on. But it is Alphatrix who wins by 0.8 of a second. A thrilling finale here under the bright lights in Bahrain. The top 4 remain as they are, to be honest. Alphatrix wins, Montana second, Josh in third, Toxic in 4th, with Verstappen in 5th, Killer Blue in 6th, Kooky Games from 12th up to 7th, getting the driver of the day vote from the game. Neo in 8th, Spine in 9th. Cohen was the one who got fastest lap, so he might get the extra point. While Luigi in 11th, Baki in 12th, Campbell in 13th, Rocco in 14th, Gary in 15th, Suku in 16th, Decky, just Asas and Matty 17th, 18th, 19th, just Asas and Matty not getting round, and Decky disconnecting because of internet issues, I think, and the German finishing there. Classified in 17th, but I don't think he'd be classified as a human finisher. He'll be classified, of course, as an AI finisher. But that is it for tonight here, all in League of Europe Division 1. What a fantastic race it has been once again. It has been an absolute honour and privilege to take you through the action. And once again, next week, we are going to be taking you through it is going to be a fantastic race, of course. Just getting the website up now to confirm what we've got for you next week in terms of the action that is going to be happening out on track. And for next week, we go to Hanoi in Vietnam for the Vietnamese Grand Prix. Your first chance of seeing Vietnam on the F1 2020 game of League of Europe. But for me, James said, I'll bid you farewell. Come and watch me on CRC if you want to in 5 minutes. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.